In honor of Veterans Day, please join me and my son, First Lieutenant Joshua Bertherlot, who is currently serving with the 1st Armored Division at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas, as we have a patio talk about service to our country. Hey bud, how you doing tonight?
Good. How you?
I'm good. How's your day been going?
It's good.
It's good. You look a little tired.
Yeah,
Everything's been well?
yeah, long day.
Yeah.
Finally home.
All right. So Josh, it's good seeing you. And it's Veterans Day coming up this Friday. And
Yep.
I know you are not a veteran, but still you're serving our country. But my dad was a veteran, Papa B, like we like to call him. And just looking back on you going to West Point and signing up with the Army, do you think he had something to do with inspiring you to join the military?
Yeah, definitely. So when I was young, Papa B really kind of inspired me to learn more about World War II in particular, and that's when I started to just learn more about the Army in general. And it's a different time, obviously, than back then, but Papa B was definitely kind of the source of like the inspiration that I got to really want to join and serve.
And if you remember well, you did a social studies project back in 5th grade, I think it was.
It was, yeah. From Grand Point to Germany is what we called it.
You had talked about how my dad had a lot to do with you joining the Army and serving. And I just want to talk a little bit about his service during World War II. When he was drafted in 1943, his mom was a widow. It was a single parent family. It was very difficult for him to go and to serve. But he went to Camp Hahn in California to do his training. And from there, he went all the way to New York, across the ocean to London, landed on Utah Beach, not on D-Day, but a couple days after, and then fought his way across France, helped with the liberation of Paris, went into Belgium, also fought in the Battle of the Bulge, and then eventually into Germany, where he saw VE Day, Victory in Europe Day, and lived to come back and pass his values along to me and then to you.
So actually, it's funny you mentioned Bastogne and General Patton, because the unit that I'm currently serving with, 137 Armor, our C Company, Charlie Company, called Cobra King, is named after the very first tank, Cobra King, that made it into Bastogne to relieve the 101st Airborne.
That is pretty awesome. The legacy there, in and of itself. So, my dad passed away in 1984, 13 years before you were actually born. You've probably heard us talk about him. What are your thoughts about my father, my dad?
So yeah, it's really sad. Unfortunately, I never got to meet him because of how much I've heard about him from you and your siblings, about how much of a role model father he was. And I definitely see a lot of that in you, and I just know that you are carrying along his legacy as I would like to.
Good. Almost made me cry. What does it mean to you when you see a veteran?
It's very important to me to remember that veterans have established, the history and the legacy of the Army that I serve in today. So anytime I see someone that served before me, I make it a point to walk up to them, find out about their experiences, thank them for their service, and just make sure they know that I'm grateful for what they left behind for me to carry forward for them.
It was great seeing you tonight. Mom and I and Hannah miss you a lot. Anything you want to say before we hang up, bud?
Yeah, I want to say Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there listening and watching, and just thank you very much for leaving behind such a strong legacy that myself and everyone I'm serving with can continue to carry forward.
Thank you, bud. Miss you a lot. You cooking the dirty rice on Thanksgiving when we come, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for spending this evening in honor of Veterans Day with First Lieutenant Joshua Bertherlot and myself. Good night.